So if you have less than $1,000 in your savings account, that means that you value your home and food more than you do yourself, when you're the one who created that money in the first place.
So it's really important that we look at the previous 90 days of our bank statement so we can see exactly where our money is going, so we can start making some mental notes of how we can start changing that to put ourselves in a better position to start putting some of that money aside. Money goes to those who have a plan. And if you think that's not the case, look at where your money goes. There is going to somebody that has a plan for your money, and best believe the bank has a plan for your money.
That's literally robbing your wealth. It's robbing your wealth and you don't even know it. So let's talk about this, right? When it comes to saving in the good old US of A, we really don't have to save. And the reason being is because we have our credit cards, we have our retirement accounts, we have mom, daddy, brother, sister, whomever it is, bailing us out when we need some cash. So what's the point of saving in the first place if you always know you're gonna have your own personal bailout? And the one thing that we talk about all the time on this channel is that 58% of Americans have less than $1,000 in savings. And you know what this tells us? Is that you ain't worth anything because you don't have any money in your savings account. You're literally saying that you're cool with giving everyone else your money and not keeping any money for yourself. So it's time to turn those tables around and start owning more of your own money.
Now that brings us to our first tip, which is the purpose of savings in the first place. We can't predict the future. Maybe you can, but we definitely can. We don't have a crystal ball to let us know what is going to happen in the future as far as our economy or our own personal economy that we create for ourselves. So we need to have a source of savings so that we can tap into in the event of an emergency. Now, having savings is very, very important because like Carmen mentioned, if we don't have that, then we're kind of subject to going to our family and friends or even the banks and putting ourselves in debt, which it puts us further and further behind the 8 ball when it comes to the success that we want to create for ourselves.
Absolutely.
So we really have to understand the purpose of saving in the first place is because we don't know the future.
And we need to understand our worth, because if you're going to pay everyone else the money, why not keep some for yourself? And if you're ready to manage your money more effectively, then definitely click on the link below to check out our crash course in financial education, because it is so crucial that you understand the money game and you will learn how the money game is played in our money blueprint course. So click on the link below. All right, so let's jump into point number 2, and we're gonna put some numbers on the screen for you so you can follow along with the breakdown that we're talking about, because it's really important that you understand your worth, because we're gonna show you where all of your money is going. All right, so let's get started. As of 2019, the average household income was $64,000, which puts you in a 12% tax bracket. That means that you're gonna pay $7,680 in taxes that year. So that leaves you with the remaining amount of $56,320. And that's the remaining amount of money that you have to pay all of your bills for the year. Now let's keep going. Let's say that you have a mortgage and the average expense for a mortgage is $1,000 per month, which means that you're gonna pay $12,000 for the year. Let's subtract that to the $56,000 and we get $44,320. So now your taxes are paid and your house is paid for the year. But we gotta keep going because you probably own a car, right? Let's say that the average car note is $460 a month. That means you're gonna pay $5,520 for the year, leaving you with $38,800. Now, you gotta eat. Let's think about that. So if you pay an average of $550 a month on food expenses, that's eating out, groceries, whatever you wanna call it, that's $6,600 for the year that you're spending in food. And that leaves you with $32,200.
Now these are the necessities. You have to have someplace to live, you have to have a car to go to and from work, and you have to have food.
Yep.
So after all those expenses, on average, you left with half of what you started with because of taxes also. Now, this doesn't take into consideration putting furniture in your house or the insurance that you pay for your house or HOA or
Kids
or any of the amount of money that you put into your home or even the gas and maintenance to going in to and from work. So what does that leave us with when it comes to our income? Well, you say, Carmen and Darius, well, how in the world can I have money if I'm paying all these bills?
Yep.
Well, what do you have to do? You have to get on the offense. You have to start making more money. And how do you do that? You get creative.
Exactly. This isn't victim mode here, because we hear all the time is, I only have enough money to pay my expenses and I have nothing left. So again, what are you telling yourself? If you have absolutely no money after all of your bills are spent, then you're not making enough money and you need to do something about it. And this is the prime time, like Darius said, where you got to get creative. Do you need to put your big boy and your big girl pants on and start looking for other opportunities that are going to pay you your worth? Or are you going to just continue and have the same months that you have every single month without doing anything about it? Now, when we talk about your worth, it's important to understand those numbers that we reviewed. Some people pay $12,000 or more per year for their housing, $6,000 or more per year for their food. So if you have less than $1,000 in your savings account, that means that you value your home and food more than you do yourself, when you're the one who created that money in the first place. So if you're going to put a certain percentage of your income towards these things, you need to make sure that you are being paid also, in addition to all these expenses that you're paying on a monthly basis.
Right, and it comes down to just plain old good habits, because instead of making $64,000, you can make $300,000 and be in the same situation, because as your income increases, so does your expenses, because of the habits that we create for ourselves.
Yeah.
So the third point that we want to make is you just have to do it. When you think about your income and the fact that the first thing that we pay off top is taxes. Taxes immediately come out of our account. Why don't we treat ourselves better than what we treat Uncle Sam?
Yeah.
Uncle Sam, we've been paying Uncle Sam since our very first job, where for me, I was a grocery boy at Piggly Wiggly in South Carolina. For you, may have been something different, but in any event, we've always paid taxes. We haven't always saved because we didn't have to. What's more important to us is that we pay our taxes, that we pay our mortgage, that we pay our food, that we pay for our car notes instead of paying ourselves. We just have to buckle down and create the habit of saving and doing it.
Yes. Now, Carmen and Darius, how much do I need to save? Well, a good rule of thumb is you should probably be saving more than you're paying in taxes. Think about that, right? Because in the example that we gave, it was over $7,000 that was being paid in taxes. So I would say for you, your number one goal is to get your savings over the amount of money that you are paying in taxes on an annual basis.
Right. And the reason why we came up with this is because let's think about investing. When you invest in the stock market, your purpose is to beat the market, to beat 5%. Well, when it comes to your savings, you want to beat the person who's coming into your pocket and digging a hand in your pocket and taking that money out first.
Your silent partner.
Your silent partner. You want to beat them. So you want to beat the IRS when it comes to savings.
Exactly. And like Darius said with point number 3, just do it. We have so many people that say, I'll wait till next month. I'll wait. No, right now, go put $50 in your savings account. Go put $100 in your savings account, because you deserve it. And you are the one who's working for the money. I cannot stress this enough. Until you start seeing money piling up in your savings account, then maybe it'll resonate. But until then, you might just feel like you're frivolously spending when, like we said earlier in this video, it's all about being able to have a cushion, because you don't know what's going to happen in the future, and how amazing will it feel for you to have money to back you up on in case a hardship comes. And the reason why you have that money in the first place is because you put a plan together to put that money aside. So just take a moment and think about that. A lot of times we undervalue the purpose of savings, and we want to beat that into your brain today, is talking about the importance of it and how you can do better. So the first thing is just understanding the purpose of savings in the first place. The second thing is breaking down your bills. Figure out how much money is going every single month or every single year through all of these expenses that you're paying. And then number 3, just get it done. Just get it done. Let's go ahead and just have this conversation first, can we? I hate when people call your savings an emergency fund. This is not an emergency fund, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want you to think in a scarcity mindset, because if you're always saying, oh, my emergency fund, you're projecting that something is going to happen, that an emergency could probably happen. So let's just change the gate. You know, we're going to think positively. Let's call it an opportunity fund, shall we? Because this opportunity fund allows us the opportunity to pay for things if they come up. So we're just going to change our mindset, change those few words around. So this opportunity fund that we're going to teach you how to build is going to be the game changer for you, which is going to help you sleep more soundly at night, knowing that you actually have a plan in place and you have some cushion in case something comes up.
Now, the first tip that we want to give you is that people that don't have money, what they want more than anything is to have money.
Yes.
So what do they do instead? In the absence of money, they look like they have money. So it's a stark comparison to those that have money. A lot of people that we know, they look like they don't have money, if that makes sense. So the rich people are trying to look poor and the poor people are trying to look rich. Now, it's much easier for you to be rich and look like you're poor than it is for you to be poor and look like you're rich, because what happens is if you don't have money, you get into debt and you start thinking wrong about the financial decisions that you make because you want to look to part. So in this first tip, you have to react to your finances according to where you are financially. You shouldn't be going into debt to get a Gucci bag to look like you have Gucci money when you don't. So what you want to do is make financial decisions based on your level so that you can start setting aside money to put yourself in a better position to make more money in the future. It's all about delayed gratification.
And to that point, with people who actually have money, their perspective is different. So they're maybe not running out to buy Gucci bags because their value lies in different things. They may be putting that towards investments or things that actually make them money as opposed to spending money. So the second step that we want to share with you is actually something tangible. When it comes to saving money, putting money aside, we always talk about paying yourself first. And that can be maybe a little bit of a complex thing to think about. How am I going to pay myself? But I'm going to challenge you in this video right now. If you have $50, separate that $50 from your checkings account and put it in your savings account. And how quickly can you do that until you get to $1,000? Right? Because if you're going to spend money on that Gucci bag or your electricity bill or Netflix or Hulu or whatever it is, realize, I'm going to slow down for a minute, realize that you're literally taking your money and you're giving it to that person, you're giving it to this person, you're giving it to that person. You're literally giving your money away.
Literally.
Do you understand that? You're literally giving your money away. And if you're going to give your money away, then send it this way, you know, because we'll figure out a way to do something with it.
Yeah, at least join our Patreon page where we talk about finances and different opportunities that you can maybe use right now to put yourself in a better financial position.
Exactly,
because
to empower yourself.
The biggest asset that you have is you.
Yes.
And if you're going to give away money, the best thing to do is utilize that money to put yourself in a position to learn more about finances and how it works so that you can start applying the knowledge that you have to start investing, to start creating different sources of income, just to start making more money.
Exactly. So when we're talking about your finances, whatever money that you have right now, start putting it aside and do it consistently. You know, some people will put like a few $100s aside and then they stop because they think that they're good. Figure out the amount that you want to put aside and do it consistently until you get to $1,000. To get to that milestone, breathe, celebrate, have an amazing time, and just think about that's $1,000 that you put aside for you. Mm-hmm. You didn't give it away to anybody else. You just put it aside for yourself.
Now, the third thing that we want to talk about is take a look at the previous 90 days of your bank statement. Take a look and see what are you spending your money on? What can you categorize your biggest expenses and even some of your small expenses? Because those small expenses are really what adds up. And, you know, we might have a credit card that may be $50 a month. But if we have 5 of those credit cards, that's $250 that we're spending just on different credit card expenses that most of that money is going towards interest.
Exactly.
So it's really important that we look at the previous 90 days of our bank statement so we can see exactly where our money is going so we can start making some mental notes of how we can start changing that to put ourselves in a better position to start putting some of that money aside.
Exactly. And to Darius's point, definitely click on the link below and check out our course, The Money Blueprint, because The Money Blueprint is all about teaching you financial literacy, because we want to increase your financial intelligence so that you know how to allocate your funds, you know how to take advantage of opportunities that come, and of course, what we're all here for, infinite banking, so that you can apply all your hard work and your savings towards creating your own banking system so that you can create wealth and opportunity for your family. Now, the last point that I want to share with you is, we talked about checking out your bank statements. What I want you to do is, with every single purchase that you make, every time you swipe your card, I want you to ask yourself one question before you swipe that. And that question is going to be, do I need this? Be honest with yourself. Do I need this? Going to Starbucks? No, that's not a necessity. Buying frivolous things? No, that's not a necessity.
Buying junk food? No, it's not a necessity, because it doesn't increase your well-being. Matter of fact, it may make it worse in some cases if it's like Twinkies.
Yeah, that could make your health poor. Now you got high health bills. So if anything, what we want to do is just start getting you into perspective, because sometimes it's just so easy to swipe these days. Take a moment, and every single time you go to swipe or spend some cash, just ask yourself, do I need this? And if the answer is no, then take that money and put it aside towards your opportunity fund. Drop whatever it is that you're about to buy and transfer that money to your opportunity fund.
Right. And it's really important that we ask ourselves this question, because a lot of times when it comes to money, we make emotional decisions. When you take a look at the marketing that we get, the commercials of brand new cars, the commercials are created so that we have some type of emotional attachment to this particular product or service. And whenever we have an emotional connection to it, we don't make logical decisions.
No.
So we want to intentionally make logical decisions every time we spend money. Is this going to be adding value to me? Is this going to increase my net worth? What is it doing for me? Do I need it?
Yeah. Is it getting me closer to my financial goals? And do you even have financial goals to begin with? That's a whole nother thing that you should be asking yourself, because by the end of this year, what are some things that you want to accomplish financially? Good question.
Right. Now, when it comes to saving your first $1,000, it's really important that you take all these tips into consideration so that you can put yourself in that ideal position to have that $1,000 sitting in your savings account, so that you can move on to the next step, which is maybe some investing in yourself. You have to have a good foundation of saving to get there. And the habits that you create along the way of creating that $1,000 in your savings is very important to help you move forward throughout your financial journey.
Exactly. And once you get to that $1,000, ladies and gentlemen, the key is to not spend it. Again, we're not going to give that money away. We're going to keep it for ourselves, and we're going to continue to build it. Don't spend that money. Allow yourself to create opportunities so that you can make money with this money. It's not about spending it. It's about using this as an opportunity to invest, to make money.
Paying yourself first is very, very important, but the next move should be your best move. And a lot of times what we do is we get stuck on, or we don't even get stuck. Well, we get stuck on not even doing the first step.
Exactly. We don't even get started.
And that's why we keep talking about paying yourself first over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah. Because really we wanted just to take the time to dedicate what we really mean by paying yourself first in the first place. Because I think throughout the whole journey of, your financial journey, people are trying to figure out, what do we do? How does this whole thing work? And so for us, what we want to make sure that you understand, the first point that we're going to be addressing today is that you need to establish a system where you have an expense account where your daily expenses are being paid from, and you need to have a savings account where you are literally paying yourself first every single time that you get paid.
Right. And that savings account is key, because everything that you do for yourself will be there. That's where your emergency fund is.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of people get caught up on. I need to have 3 to 6 months in savings. And after that, I can just blow it.
Yeah.
But that's just the first piece of it. We have to take this a step further, because how are you going to continue putting yourself in I guess, a safe place
Mm-hmm.
if you just have money sitting there not doing anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Notice, I was just going to say, notice what I just said, sitting there, not doing anything.
Uh-huh.
3 to 6 months of savings,
not doing
anything.
Yeah, I think it's important that we address that, which we definitely will. So going back to paying myself first, a lot of times people reach out to us and go, Darius and Carmen, how can I pay myself first? I can barely afford to, pay all the expenses at the end of the day. And then how much do I pay myself? So really what we think that you should at least start with is 10% of whatever your income is. That should be always paid to yourself first. And you can do that in a few different ways. You can have your employer separate the direct deposit. 90% goes to your checking account, 10% goes to your savings account. So that way it's already done automatically. Or the minute the money hits your account, you already have an automatic transfer ready to move the money over. And that's how we always like to automate things, because you don't even have to think about it. It's being done. Now, to address the point as far as how am I allocating these funds without rocking the boat of my expenses, we need to figure that out first, because you should absolutely be able to save money and pay all of your bills without any issues. If you're having issues, that means in the spending category, in that spending bucket that you have, you may be overindulging in some categories. Maybe your home is too expensive. Maybe your car is too expensive. And
no, it's not you maybe. You are definitely overindulging if you don't have enough money to pay yourself to save.
Yeah, to reallocate the funds. And what I mean by too expensive, you may say to me, oh, I can afford the monthly payments, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that your monthly payments are taking up too much of your income, so that you can't pay yourself. You can't afford these other things because your car or your house or whatever it is taking up too much of your income.
Yeah, and there's 2 points that I want to make. And the first one being that the emotional benefit of having funds set aside, it really goes a long way in you playing this money game.
Yeah.
Because if, let's say, you pay all your expenses and you go to the end of the month and you don't have anything to save for yourself, that takes an emotional toll on you, to where you feel like you don't have enough money, or there's some lack somewhere in your life, and that doesn't give you the opportunity or the confidence to take shots in places you need to.
Yeah.
So if you do have funds aside, let's say you put your money aside first, but then you go and pay your bills and you don't have any money left, you can always look and see that you paid yourself first, and there's money available for you to go out and make more money.
Mm-hmm.
The whole idea of making more money and investing in assets or investing in yourself, it has a lot to do with confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Confidence, I would say, is for us is about 80% of the opportunities that you decide to shoot at. And if you don't have any confidence, then 9 times out of 10, because you start with the lack of confidence, then a lot of times the things that you want to do, you do out of just pure, you're just trying to make something happen.
It could be ignorance, it could be emotions, it could be all of it.
Yeah. You do something out of the fact that you're trying to make something happen. Mm. It's like a Hail Mary. And how many times have you seen Hail Marys work? They only work on TV. But for the average person, you have to have a plan. Mm-hmm. Which brings me to my second point. Paying yourself first is a part of your plan. It is not the plan, is a part of your plan. And the way Carmen and I started off our finances when we started to become successful is the first thing we did is pay ourselves first. The first thing we do now is pay ourselves first. All the other wealthy people that we know of, the very first thing they do is pay themselves first, because that's the beginning of their plan. Mm-hmm. Now, money goes to those who have a plan. Mm-hmm. And if you think that's not the case, look at where your money goes. There is going to somebody that has a plan for your money. And best believe the bank has a plan for your money. Mm-hmm. You may not have one, but the bank does. Yeah. So by you not having a plan, that's why you end up not having or being in a position that you want to be in financially, because you don't have a plan. So at the end of the day, make sure you have a plan for your money, because your money will follow the actions that you tell it.
Yeah. So basically, if you, what's the quote? If you don't have a plan, you're planning to fail.
There you go.
And that is what really is encompassed within your money. So that's why we want to make sure today we're stressing how to pay yourself first. So again, look at your income. Now, figure out what 10% of that is. Figure out what 20% of that is. Maybe you can afford to pay yourself more. And these stipulations are up to you. But at the bare minimum, you should be paying yourself at least 10% of your income, because you don't want to continue to give your money away to everyone else and not keep any for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So very first point, go find that savings, 10%, put it away, lock it up. The second point that we want to address with this video is, like we said, the action of finding the money. The second part is being consistent with actually paying yourself, because it's one thing for you to understand what the numbers are. It's another thing for that money to continue to be banked every single month without fail.
Right.
That's the biggest thing about this, is consistency, because it doesn't make sense for you to pay yourself in January, skip February, maybe come back in April, maybe hit it back in September. You're not doing anything. You're not being productive with these savings, because what you need to recognize is that your expense account is blow money, basically, right? That's money that you're not necessarily going to see again, because you have to pay your utilities, you have to pay whatever expenses are. Your savings is really the strategic account in which it's going to allow you to live the lifestyle that you want to live, because we're going to take that savings account and we're going to do something with it. We're going to make that money make money, and it's not just going to sit. So that's why for us, when we think about infinite banking, we always want to coach our clients up to make sure that they are good stewards of money, and that they're in the habit of saving, and that they're in the habit of creating cash flow, because without it, the policies can be affected, your whole banking system can be affected. And we want to make sure that off the gate, you have a really good understanding and respect for money.
Yeah. And just off the gate, or if you come to us and say you want a policy, but you have a problem saving money or paying yourself first, then we've told our agents not to sell you a policy, because the policy isn't going to help you do the first step. The first step is paying yourself first. You should be doing like years ahead of the time. Like we're trying to put you on game when it comes to using life insurance as a tool, but you have to do your part or due diligence initially so that you can actually get into the game.
Yeah.
Paying yourself first should be the easy part. It's the automatic thing. Having a plan is the free stuff. We should take advantage of all the free stuff that we have to do, or stuff that only requires effort and energy, and not time and not money.
Yeah.
And we have to execute on those things. Those are the tangibles that we need to be successful with money. Infinite banking is a process, and you have to plug in good habits to this process in order for it to work. Having a life insurance policy is just a tool.
Yeah.
And I read a book, An Asset, by Caleb
Williams.
Williams, that referred to the life insurance policy as just a tool, and it's similar to a golf club. Now, if you have to go and play golf, would you rather have $1 million club, or would you have $1 million swing? And that's exactly what the difference maker is in this process. It's the process, not the policy. So the closest thing you have to being good at this system is the process that you bring into it. And if you don't have a good foundation of paying yourself first, then you really can't start. But just the second part to this video is figure out what that number is for you in savings. Is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? Is it 12 months? Whatever it makes you comfortable.
Yeah.
But since you have a consistent habit of paying yourself first, everything that is over that, you should start investing those funds. You should start using those funds to make money, because that is key. Making more money is key. That's the whole purpose of money, is to make more money.
Now, I want to address what you were saying about habits. And we're not even with this point that I want to make. It's not even about money, because we have a lot of people that come to us and think that the minute they buy a policy, their life is going to change and everything's going to be amazing. And to your point, if you're not bringing bad habits into this, if you are bringing bad habits into this relationship, then it's going to be a challenge for you. That's why for us, it's very important to make sure that you understand this information up front, because just having a policy isn't going to change your vision, is not going to change your goals. You have to come correct with the discipline and the fortitude to see everything through. So this comes with everything. So if you're trying to lose weight, if you want to eat better, if you want to spend more time with your family, whatever those habits are that you want to start adopting for yourselves, at the end of the day, what is the main factor? It's discipline. It's taking the time and taking the action that making the action that it takes to get these things happening.
Mm-hmm.
You can't lose weight if you're not committed to the plan. You can't eat better if you're committed to Twinkies. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to figure out exactly what it is that you're doing that's affecting your ability to be successful. And you have to take that same lens and apply it to your finances. Why am I unable to save? Why am I unable to get ahead? Why am I still living paycheck to paycheck? You have to figure out what the root cause is. Are you overspending? Are you overindulging in certain things? Are you reckless? See, at the end of the day, do you not have a plan? A lot of these things can be curbed. Like you said, these are free things.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is do a little bit of math to figure out what that root cause is and recognize, like, you know what, I'm eating out too much. Or, you know what, my car is way too expensive and taking, 50% of my income. And that's why I'm struggling to make these other things meet, because my car is eating up into everything. So first of all, look in the mirror, evaluate that, and then determine, okay, how am I going to move forward? Because again, like we said, we absolutely want to serve as many people as we can, but we can't serve you if you can't serve yourself.
Right. And all these things that Carmen mentioned, they're habits. We don't break habits. Like, if you have a habit of smoking, that's a habit. What you can do is you can switch that habit out with another one. So what our job is to have more good habits than bad habits, because habits don't break. We just change them. So, and a good example of this is I have family members who had to stop smoking, and what they replaced that smoking habit with was food. Is that they stopped smoking, but is overeating still a problem? They switched that habit with another habit. We have other friends that instead of curbing their smoking habit, they started going to the gym. They replaced that bad habit with the good habit.
Yep.
It's the same thing that is the case when it comes to overspending. Success is a habit. So we have to figure out what habits that we can start for ourselves that can put us on the right track for success.
Yeah. And not hinder us in a different avenue. But like you said, we stopped smoking, but now we're overeating, and now we've gained a ton of weight, and now our health is still affected.
Right.
So what is that to your finances?
It's the opposite of success. What's the opposite of success? Failure. So failure is a habit. So is success. Let's make sure our habits set us up for success.
Wow. I never thought about it that way when you said failure is a habit, because you continue to do things that are not putting you in the right position.
Over and over again,
yeah. The definition of insanity. And wow, that's really powerful. And I never thought about that. Failure is a habit, and so is success. I totally get that and understand that. So, okay, moving on to the third point that Darius started talking about, which is with the savings and investing. So for us, when we talk about paying yourself first, please hear us loud and clear. We are not saying to keep your money inside the savings account. We're most of all just telling you that you need to get in the habit of saving money, of getting used to the system that you're building for yourself. Because like I said earlier, we're going to use our savings account to leverage so that we can do more, we can create cash flow and really bring home that lifestyle that it is that we're trying to do.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the reason why we're harping so much on paying yourself first and successful habits is because banking is a habit. Like when we use our funds with our banking system, it's a habit. So we have a habit of using our banking system to make more money. And when you watch our old videos and you hear me talk about how we use our banking system to go on vacation, or to pay off our rent, or pay our rent up for a year, or to pay for dinner, it's because psychologically it has become a habit. It has become habitual that every single time we spend money, there's an opportunity to make money. And the reason why that's the case is because someone is always making money every time you come out your pocket. So why not start thinking of different ways, or put yourself on that wavelength, subconscious wavelength of making money from every single thing that you do, because somebody is.
Yeah, it's true. Now, the important thing well, all of this is important, but really once that discipline has cemented in your brain, the next thing is, like you said, how am I going to make money from this? Because when we put our emergency fund away, when we put the 3 to 6 months away, whatever it is, it's always sitting there, and money sitting or money stagnant is not doing anything for you. So that's why for us, we totally love the idea of infinite banking, which is being able to just take our savings account and move it into a whole life insurance policy. That way we can earn a guaranteed return and we can get a death benefit, God forbid something were to happen to us. Double whammy on top of that. And in addition, since our money is compounding, we're still able to access those funds and do whatever we want with it.
Right.
So if anything, we're just creating a different system by just moving our money to a different financial product, which is something that is definitely to your benefit. So if you want to learn more about that, click on the link below in this video so you can learn how to create your own banking system. Now, making money from your savings account. Who knew that you could possibly do something like that? I know for
people
us,
that got money.
Yeah, of course they knew. We didn't know anything about that. We're like, yeah, I don't really understand how this works, but now we totally understand how this works because we do it for ourselves.
Think about it. There's two sides to every single game. There's an offense and defense.
Yeah.
Your 3 to 6 to 12 months of savings is your defense. Now, how do we get on offense? We have to put ourselves in a position to make some passive income.
How can we start scoring?
How can we start scoring? How can we start putting points on the board? We do that by getting on offense. And the crazy thing about us living in these United States of America is there's so many opportunities surrounding us to where we feel overwhelmed of the opportunity.
Ooh, the shiny object. There's always something to do. There's always something to do.
There's always something advertised to get you to maybe make more money or get you to spend money.
Yeah. And then because it can even talk about business, because we have so many people, I want to start a business. And then you end up starting 70 different businesses and you don't start one. So really making sure that you're keeping in mind with the shiny object syndrome, be aware of that. And basically what the shiny object syndrome is you get your attention is changed for all the new opportunities that come. All of a sudden, I want to do this. Now I want to do this. Now I want to do this. Now I want to do this. That's what the shiny object syndrome is. And we all fall upon it. We've fallen upon it, but we recognize that you have to get to a point where you can't keep operating this way. At some point, you have to commit to something.
Yeah, and it's something that we had to learn to do, because here's just a brief story. When Carmen and I first got started into infinite banking, we were doing real estate, and our bread and butter was lending on real estate investment properties. But once we started getting our policies going and we started having money, then we started thinking that we could lend on just anything.
Yeah.
We started lending on cars. We started doing personal loans. We were doing
anyone who needed money.
We were doing like umbrella loans for multiple houses. We were lending basically to anybody with money. But what we learned is the collateral that you need in order to lend money, it is not something that we wanted. So what we had to figure out is that we need to become specialists with our money. So when it comes to you figuring out an idea on what kind of passive income or what type of investment that you want to do, yes, initially try a bunch of different things to see what you really like. But at some point, you're going to have to pick one. You're going to have to figure out your major.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
You go into the money school, you're gonna have to figure out your major and specialize in it.
And specialize in that. I like in the comments, someone said you got to stay focused. That's exactly what we're trying to say. You got to stay focused, because there's always going to be opportunity. There's always going to be distraction. And if you continue to play into all of those distractions, then it's going to deter you from accomplishing your goals. And we know that all too well. You know, we've had to get to the point where we have to remove ourselves from family and friends for a minute just so that we can get focused on our business and see it through, because we kept getting distracted by all the other things that were coming our way. And determining on whatever it is when it comes to your savings, remember, you have to have that discipline. You got to be focused. Are you going to go out and hang out and spend money frivolously? That's not doing anything for you. Or are you going to be like, hey, you know what? No, I need to be focused and I need to bootstrap a little bit and I need to put these funds away so that I can at some point do exactly what it is that I want to do. But there's a process and there's a system that goes into this, and it's going to take a little bit of time for you to build it up. But the point is staying focused. So thank you for that.
Yeah, your whatever you decide to specialize in is basically your filter, because when you have money, opportunity always finds you.
Yes.
You don't have to really figure it out. What you have to figure out is what opportunities you want to pass on and which ones you want. So having a specialty allows you to hone in on all those opportunities coming your way.
Yeah. So if you all are still with us, give us a thumbs up so we can see the engagement. Thank you guys for all of your interactions and everything on the chat. So the other thing that I want to address is when we talk about shiny object syndrome and then investing opportunities, like you said, the filter, you have to figure out what is it that you specialize in? What are the things that you already know that you could possibly monetize? Because what we find that people do is they spend so much time reading and learning and educating on something that they have no knowledge about, which is fine. Hear me out. You should always be educating yourself. But the thing is you are right now a subject matter expert in something. You are getting paid for something right now today. This is your subject matter expertise, but yet you're spending all this time over here trying to learn whatever this is when you know something right now and maybe could just brush up on those skills. So what I'm saying is sometimes we take for granted the information that we know. So what do we possibly know right now that we could take and utilize for monetization, starting a business, investing, whatever it is, so that we're not draining ourselves of time and resources researching something else that may not be our expertise just yet.
Yeah.
And then at whatever point, if something interests you, then go research it. But right now, utilize the knowledge that you have right now to make money.
And it could go back to focus, because if we're trying to figure out the root cause, if you don't have focus, you can't even start to think about what you're actually good at. If you're trying to put out these fires right here around your feet. So one of the things that we
hold on. Whew. You just took me back for a moment. So do you remember what you said?
Yeah.
Can you repeat it?
I think I can. So a lot of times we can't focus on the opportunities that we can create for ourselves because we're too busy trying to focus on putting out these fires right around our feet.
Did you all hear what Darius said? I mean, I think that's the most powerful thing, because the whirlwind of the day-to-day life that we live in,
it's a distraction.
There's so many. I just got distracted 3 minutes ago before we started this video, and I'm like, oh, Carmen, focus, right? So if you are constantly being distracted every single day, how in the world can you even know what your specialty is? Thank you.
So maybe we have to focus on those things first. How can we make sure our just around us stays just have solitude around us? How can we put ourselves in a position to do that so that we can take the time to even think about what we're good at? Because one of the problems that I understand that people have is that I don't think we understand that there's a difference between spending money and using money. Right?
Taking them to church today, Darius.
There's in both situations, money's coming out of your pocket, but it's for a different purpose. Now, when we think about spending money, those nice shoes, that's spending money. $100 pair of jeans, that's spending money. What else?
Your car.
You're putting rims on your. People don't put rims on their car anymore.
But we have.
Yeah, we have in college. I had some 20s. So that for me, that was spending money. But when it comes to using money, it's when you use money, it comes back with friends, right? When you use money, you give somebody a loan that has collateral and they pay you back with interest. That's using money. The banks are experts at using money. But we take the same source facility and our checking account and we spend money. The thing about spending money is it doesn't come back.
No, it doesn't. Yeah. And that's why we want you to understand the difference between these accounts, right? So going back to what we've been preaching on this video this whole time, your expense account
Full circle.
Yeah, we're coming back. Your expense account at the bank is your ability to spend money, right? We have two buckets: spending money, using money. We want your savings account to be the account where you are using money, where you are putting money out there and it's coming back with friends. It's generating income for you. So for you all as the consumer, we want you to understand that there's a difference.
And that's it. We're consumers. That's the team that we inherited. We inherited, like a lot of times, like if we think of our religion, we inherited our religion. We didn't have a choice because that's what my grandmother did. That's what my mom did. And my my great grandmother. So the same thing happens when it comes to our finances. Our understanding of finance, we inherit also.
Yeah.
But we don't have to keep it.
No.
We don't have to keep it. And right now, what we're doing when it comes to focus and our specialization, we specialize on spending money.
Because that's all we know.
Because that's all we know.
Same thing with your health. You know, sometimes all you know is to eat in a certain way because that's what your family did. But you don't know that you have control, right? You have control over what you do. And all that you need to do is just start educating yourself. So if you're watching the video right now, again, give us a thumbs up on this video, like the video, so that we can make sure that we're all on the same page. Start educating yourself, understanding the difference between spending money and using money. And how are you going to start using money to your benefit? How are you going to start using money so you can monetize your specialty? What is it right now that you can start monetizing on, that you can start getting money from? You can be a consultant in something, right? As of today, and you don't have to spend a ton of money on business loans, on marketing, whatever it is. You can consult in something today.
Right. And just to give you a little feedback in a real talk moment, Carmen and I in savings, we don't have 3 months of savings because we have a life insurance policy for that. We have a life insurance policy for our savings. So any additional funds that come into our life that we've set aside, it automatically goes into our investment account because we already have our savings for emergency taken care of. So the more we continue this system or this process or this habit, the more money we can use to make more money.
Absolutely. And then when we're talking about making more money, how does this work? We're not saying to then take your savings account and then start investing it. We have one step that we add into this process, right? So we're saying take your savings account, put it into a whole life insurance policy so that that savings account can be protected, right? Because you're going to get guarantees, you're going to get life insurance at the end of the day, and that money is going to compound and earn a guaranteed rate for you. Then take those funds and use it for investing. Is it business? Is it stocks? Is it crypto? Is it whatever it is, real estate? But make sure that whenever you take a loan from your policy and invest those funds, you have a guarantee that those funds are coming back. That's the other thing that we don't understand when it comes to investing is what does Warren Buffett say? Never lose money, and then don't forget to never lose money. Those are the 2 rules of success. Why do we continue to invest in things and we're okay with losing money?
Yeah.
We're okay with it. Oh, I know that I'm only going to bring back so much and I'm okay with the losses.
We're okay with taking risks too.
Yes, no.
Like, you don't have to take any risks because if you have the money, you can make the rules. When the reason why risk is a thing is because that means you're giving up your money to somebody else.
Yep.
So that's what somebody else tell you just in case they lose all your money.
Yeah, you should be okay, Darius. I'm going to take your money, I'm going to invest it, and you should be okay knowing that there's risk and that there's losses. Right. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Hell no.
The more, in order for me to make money, that means I have to risk more money.
Yeah.
That's not the case. The only people who are risking money are the people that are throwing those Hail Marys.
Let's put this into perspective. Do you think you're going to go to a billionaire and say, Mr. Billionaire, I lost some money? Are you okay with that? You think how you think they're going to take it?
Okay.
No, they're not going to take it okay because they're good stewards of money and they're going to be like, what happened to my money? How do you think they got to $1 billion in the first place? How do you think people with money got with money in the first place? Is because they don't take risks and they have guarantees and they know that their money is coming back.
And they specialize in something.
Exactly. So
try going to a billionaire and asking them how to fix your car, for example. He has no clue. It's okay. It's okay for us to not have any idea how to do something because we are focused on something else. Ask a brain surgeon how to work a coffee machine.
Oh man. And if he knows how to, you need to find a different brain specialist.
Yeah. ask him how to fix a TV or do some plumbing. He has no clue.
He has too much time on his hands.
and honestly, I'm saying real talk again because I really want you guys to understand this is that it's okay to not know everything. Like you can be a jack of all trades and a master of none, right? That's where that saying comes from. Because if you ask somebody that is super successful at one thing, how to do something else, they can't even carry on a conversation about it.
Yeah. Because it's not their thing.
And that's exactly what you want to do. And I learned this from just this experience with the whole us understanding real estate, banking, and life insurance is that some of the guys that are super successful, they are not the sharpest tool in the shed when it comes to being social about things outside of money.
Yeah. Because again, going back to the specialists. So the point again that I want to harp on you all is and I hope that you get this from this video. Whenever you take your savings and then you are investing it when you're trying to bring back friends, you should never, never, never put yourself in a situation where you are okay with a loss. And the reason being is, again, because people with money do not take losses.
No.
People with money take something called collateral, meaning they get their money back in some way, shape, or form. So you need to be able to be just as diligent and just as disciplined as they are. So if it's time for you to invest in something, you better, for one, make sure that you have some sort of collateral as a guaranteed payback, because every time you lose money, not only did you lose money, but you lost your ability to make more money with those funds. And if you keep occurring losses here, there, everywhere, then guess what's going to happen? You're going to continue to lose more and more money, not be able to keep up with inflation, not be able to keep up with taxes, and then you're right back to the drawing board. So I want to stress this, because this is what the part of infinite banking where I feel like a lot of people don't talk about is you can be all in the policy design, how the policy this and that and the other, but then you come to us and go, hey, what do I do with it? And we need to make sure that you understand what to do with the policy, because just having the piece of paper, the policy itself, isn't going to do anything for you, because you need to figure out how you're going to create cash flow from the policy in the first place.
Right. And just circling back to when we say pay yourself first when it comes to this infinite banking process, when you deposit money into the bank, that money is then used. Like your deposits in the bank is then processed through the bank system to lend money out to somebody else. So when we talk about deposits, we say pay yourself first, and we pay ourselves first into our banking system.
Yeah.
That is us paying ourselves first, is going into our banking system, so it can be then processed just like a bank and used to make more money.
Yeah, and then when the whole thing that goes out when you're investing, like we talk about, when you have you're bringing money back with friends or whatever it is, you need to figure out whatever interest you are going to be incurring. If you're sending money out, you should definitely be able to make some sort of interest, whether it's from your investment or whatever the case may be. So make sure that when you're investing, you're getting money back with friends and you have some sort of collateral as a guaranteed payback.
Right.
So again, thank you guys for hanging out with us. If you're still with us, like this video so that we can get some algorithm love our way from YouTube. Go ahead.
One thing I want to share as we sign off is the fact that life insurance inside the contract says that you are guaranteed to earn a certain amount.
Yes.
My question to you is, in the entire world, do you think that is the only guarantee contract that you can have? So if the question is yes, then you are right.
Yeah.
If the question is no, you're also right. So there are people that stack guarantees in their favor. That's why they continue to make money. So if you can guarantee to make money, then why not find all those little gold nuggets scattered around, all those little Pokemons scattered out
Pokemon
everywhere?
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. If you say yes, if you say no, either way, you're right, because that's going to be how you manage your funds. That's going to be how you do this thing. So again, we hope that you say yes so that you can continue to make some more funds.
Right. And you said it's a crazy thing question, but do they take losses?
Yeah.
A loss.
Our battery's about to die. Hold on, keep going.
A loss is buying coffee at Starbucks because that money is gone.
Yeah.
So when you think about a loss, start thinking about losses and wins differently, then your mindset and your psychology of money changes also.
Yeah, because so
a loss is whenever you spend money, you don't get it back. So your expenses, you spent money and
you didn't get it back.
It's gone. And you bought something that isn't adding value to you. So that's considered a loss.
Every single time it's a loss. So then on the contrary, how do you combat that? Now we have to figure out how to create cash flow so that I can pay for everything, all of my expenses, so that I'm not continuing to take on losses. Someone else is paying for Starbucks, not me.
Yeah. And that's the thing about creating a system is you can have, you don't have to be the one depositing money into your banking system, because the banks don't deposit any money into their own banking system. So what you have to do is get from point A to point B to point C to point D.
And I didn't know that. I didn't know that you could essentially outsource your income. Somebody else could pay for your income.
That's called passive income.
I know, but I'm saying when you're learning about money and recognizing like, oh man, I can invest and then those funds can come in and pay for this, that, and the other. Like, we're not taught this in school. Mm-hmm. So it's a huge epiphany once you recognize like, oh my gosh, somebody else can literally take over all of my expenses and I don't have to use my income for this. Huge game changer once you start to understand those nuggets and apply it into your life.
Right. But it all starts with the habit of paying yourself first, because habits is something that you can just outsource in your brain and outsource it to the subconscious mind where you just do it automatically. Mm-hmm. Paying ourselves first is something that we don't even think about anymore. So we don't have to use that brain capacity on paying ourselves first. We can use it someplace else, like making money.
Exactly. So what we'll do, you all have been so amazing. You've been hanging on. So the last part of this video, we're going to start answering just a few questions that we've seen from above. So we're just going to take a few minutes and peruse since this is a live video. Thank you guys again.
There's a lot of comments.
If you're still with us, go ahead and hit that like button so that we can continue to get that engagement. So let's see. Can't wait to get my first loan. Finally got my policy approved. We're so excited. There we go. There we go.
He said, live in a tent in the woods, invest 90% of your income and walk to work.
Why not?
But see, the problem is you're not making enough money, because if 10% of your income you have to live in a tent, that's a problem. If 10% of your billionaires live on 10% or 1% of their income, mm-hmm. but they have so much money.
Yeah, no, I'm reading that as your expenses are so low, just live in a tent and let the rest be put into savings. Why not? If you're that frugal and are cool with taking showers at the gym, do what you got to do.
Yeah, we put about 70 we put about 60% of our income into the bank.
Into savings.
Into our system.
Yeah. Love your videos. Extremely helpful. Thank you guys so much. Facts. Thank you guys so much for the love. We really appreciate it. Let's see. What are we missing?
Good morning.
I'm just going through the comments. So
I just use my banking system to upgrade my home. There you go.
There we go.
Because that your home, especially if it's already paid off, is an appreciating asset. Something that you're going to pass on. You're going to pass wealth on to the next generation.
Gotta love it, Christian. What's up? Thank you, Christian, for the love. A member of our team. Are we into crypto? We are not. Not for any other reason other than it's not our specialty.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. So we just haven't gotten into it because it's not our specialty. We have a lot of other knowledge that we need to monetize first before we go start researching all the ins and outs of crypto.
That's one of those shiny object opportunities
that keeps knocking on our door.
Yeah.
We're like, hold on, crypto. We're not ready for you just yet. Let's see. How do I get in contact with you guys? wealthnation.io /masterclass, wealthnation.io /masterclass. In order to get in contact with our team, you have to watch our masterclass first and then fill out an application so that we can serve you and get a policy designed. So that's how you get your questions and everything answered. You have to first watch the masterclass and then apply. Thank you for all the thumbs up. Darius has a book of awesome sayings, doesn't he? He always pulls it out just randomly.
It comes when we're having conversation like these and I get a little heated and it just comes out.
Yeah, I love it. Let's see, is there anything else? I thought I saw a few going through. So basically, your savings is your investment funds, basically. Yes, well, we had kind of touched on that. So again, the savings, what we're doing is parking into a life insurance policy, and then from life insurance policy, we're using it to invest. Mm-hmm. So we're not taking our savings and then investing, because what happens is, in that case, we don't have a pass-through where our savings has continued to earn a compounded rate, and then we have the life insurance protection. So again, if you understand the ins and outs of infinite banking, whenever you borrow money from the policy, you're not losing your ability to earn compound interest. So your policy is continuing to compound as you're earning interest outside of the funds. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you take your money from a savings account and put it straight into investment, you're no longer earning any sort of compounding, and it's going straight into the an investment pool. So we want to have our cake and eat it too.
Can you Google Translate this one?
So I'm not sure what that is. We'll have to go forth. Thank you guys again for all that information. Good morning, guys.
It
starting from
Spanish
scratch. No. Let's see what else. What are the top whole life insurance companies, and what companies do you have? So honestly, a lot of people.
The top insurance company is the one you got your policy with.
Yeah, a lot of people, I feel like a lot of agents utilize or name drop insurance companies for sales. Honestly, what you need to do is work with a mutual dividend paying whole life insurance company.
And an agent that has a life insurance policy.
That's it.
Using their life insurance policy.
Okay. So let me preface. Let me go back. You need to work with a dividend paying mutual whole life insurance company. It doesn't matter if it's number 1 on the board or number 17. The main thing is you need to work with an insurance agent who is doing infinite banking. Right. Again, like I said, I feel like in the industry, so many people just name drop. Oh, you need to work with this company. You need to work with this company. No, you need to work with an agent who's banking and who is actively taking loans and can coach you through the process, because it doesn't matter the life insurance company, because really they all work relatively the same.
And it's like saying that you should only bank with JP Morgan.
Yeah.
Because that's the top bank.
Yeah.
But nobody says that.
Yeah.
But then you have your money sitting in your community bank and it's not even on the top 100 list.
But the withdrawals and deposits work
the same way.
Yeah. So again, who is coaching you through this process? And right now we're working with Ohio National Life and Security Mutual Life for us.
Mm-hmm. But we're not married to them.
Let's see what else. Other questions. What do you mean by pay yourself interest? Basically, like we said, whenever you are investing money, you need to make sure that money is earning interest, because we need to be making money with friends. So someone is either paying the interest, or you are paying yourself interest if you're borrowing the money from yourself. Because if you were to put your money on a credit card or get a personal loan, you would have to pay the bank interest. So that's why we're saying if you're going to get money from your policy, you should pay yourself the same amount of money that you would have paid the bank paying yourself interest.
Right.
So you're going to pay the policy loan back plus interest. And if that money's out working for someone else, they're paying the interest.
Yeah. Shout out to Terrence here. He has a good question. If I've seen over a lot of your videos when you said start a side hustle. I found what I would like to do and have a little money to start, but I have no business knowledge to get it started. Any suggestions? You know what? Here's an example. When Carmen and I first started with real estate, what we started doing is going to the courthouse and finding foreclosures and knocking on people's doors. We had no idea we had the theory of what we want to do with real estate. We had a little money and we didn't have any knowledge or experience. So we started where we were and did the free version of real estate until we started getting more experience. And as our experience grew, our knowledge grew and our pockets grew.
Yeah. In addition, what I would say now in COVID, you have such an amazing opportunity to do research online at your fingertips, right on your cell phone. So whatever your discipline is, start watching YouTube videos of people who are in this discipline. See what are the products and the services that they're offering. See how you want to emulate that. Do you want to sell how they're selling, or do you have a different way that maybe they can sell? So all you're doing is utilizing these individuals to study to see how they've structured their business. And then you pick and choose what you like from it. And if you want it to be a digital business, great. If you want to do a brick and mortar, you know how to set that up. I'd say that's probably the cheapest way to get started, is just go see what the competition is doing, because there's obviously demand if there's competition.
Yeah. And like Carmen said, see what the people at the top are doing and ask them for help.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people that sit on the top of whatever position they're in a position where they can give back, and they have an idea of not necessarily competing, but cooperating.
Yeah. Now, if you go to, this is for everybody, if you go to people and you ask for help, or you say, how can I get started? How can I do this? Always come to the table with something, right? Don't ever just do the, I want to pick your brain scenario. Come to the table with something. Hey, Darius and Carmen, I'd like to sit down with you guys. I have a solution maybe that could help you in your business. So that way now there's an even exchange, and this individual isn't just educating you. You don't have anything to bring to the table.
It works both ways.
It works both ways, so that the people who you're working with don't feel like you're using and abusing them because you're just taking. So always give something else of value that you think this business owner or this mentor could benefit from. And I say that with you because that was a little tidbit that we learned along our way, is that people are much more willing to add value to their life if they see how much value you are able to bring to their lives as well.
Yeah.
One thing that someone said that I wanted to address was maybe a crazy question, but they don't take losses. Are you saying never? I'm saying more often than not.
Yeah. They have more, their lifestyle, their life is a reflection of the fact that they have more wins than losses.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell the people who had more losses than wins because their bank account reflects it.
Yeah. Yeah. And think about it, right? How many times do you want to lose money?
Never. Warren Buffett said to never lose money.
Mm-hmm.
Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1.
Yeah.
Warren Buffett is a billionaire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for me, I never want to lose money. And if I ever, which I don't know when that happens, put myself in a position to lose money, I have the backup, which is collateral, meaning that I'm going to get something of value back so that I can either sell it or now I'm sitting on something that's cash flowing. So again, you always want more wins than losses in life.
Yeah.
I think the last thing, we're just going to go through one more. Yeah, I don't see anything else. Is that
is the monthly payment still necessary?
Mm-hmm. Are we talking about from a saving standpoint? Well, what do you think that means?
Well, since we're talking about paying yourself first, you should pay yourself first every time you get a check.
Yeah, yeah.
That's when you get paid on your paycheck, when the stimulus check, with somebody giving you $50 for something that you've done. Always pay yourself first. With every dollar that comes in your possession, pay yourself first. If you get $1, you should be putting 20 cents into someplace.
Yeah, every single time. Like the savings doesn't stop. Maybe we didn't address that or stress that enough. Your savings should never stop because you always want that to be the fuel that's aiding your investment opportunities, your cash flow opportunities.
Yeah, there's savings, and then under savings there's subheadings, which is emergency fund for 2 to 3 to 6 months or 12 months, and then there's investing, and then under investing there's maybe different subheadings where something you specialize in or something that you want to learn or something that's already making you money.
So the $600 a month monthly payment. So I think you're talking in terms of life insurance. So B. Williams, please go to our website, wealthnation.io. We have a chat box there, and a member of our team will be able to serve you there. So hit us up on the website just for clarification there. So
monthly payments aren't, when it comes to insurance policy, is not necessary. No. You have an option to do monthly, semi-annual, quarterly, or annual.
Yeah.
So for us, the most convenient is annual because we have the funds, we pay it, and then, or we deposit those funds, and then we wait to the next year when there's another opportunity to deposit money.
Again, yeah. So whatever your wallets can afford, if you're doing it monthly, annually, semi-annually, like Darius said, that's all up to you and what your banking system is all about. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to sign off. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this Friday morning. We hope that everyone is well and in good spirits. And remember that everything that you need to do, you need to always figure out how to keep money and never lose it.
Yeah, but the third step is to make money.
Exactly.
But you know what? When Warren Buffett says to rule number 1 is to never lose money, and rule number 2 is never forget rule number 1. By not losing money, you actually end up with more money, right?
Go figure.
Because losing money costs more. It costs you more than making money when you think about it.
Yeah.
Because when you lose money, you also lose your opportunity to make money on the money that you lost. So you, in theory, you kind of lose a whole lot more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right now, even though $10,000 is the goal, we have to have a reason why we want to earn $10,000. Because like J. Cole, he had $1 in a dream. And he turned that into millions. So
we got $27.
We got $27 a day. So how do we create a big enough why to where we will be motivated enough to even go for the $10,000 as fast as possible? That is what determines how fast we're able to come up with $10,000. We have to have a reason why.
Yeah, and to that point, so what is your why? The why is why you get up every day. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why do you even want to save $10,000 in the first place? Is because you, ladies and gentlemen, you guys who are watching us, you all have goals, you have standards, and you have things you want to do. So we need to get busy so that you can start doing those things.
Right, and you have a dream, just like J. Cole.
We all have dreams. So what we want to talk to you about in this video is taking the numbers that Darius just talked about, $27 a day times 30 days. That sounds cool, right? For maybe 5 days. I'll give you 5 days. Then after 5 days, $27 starts to add up, right? But Ladies and gentlemen, again, let's have this conversation. Let's be real. Let's strip everything down and let's really start to think about our day-to-day habits.
Right. But before we do that, let's make this video real quick.
Okay.
Make more money.
All right, that's it.
That's it. Own your own lifestyle.
Or someone else will. That's exactly that. Because whatever extra money that you have coming in, you could just put it straight towards that savings account.
Exactly. That's how you can get $10,000 really, really fast. But for those of us who don't have the option of having additional funds
just yet,
how do we get to that number? Well, we have to break it down to a small number. And the reason why I said $27, because if you do that $27 every single day for 30 days, then you have $833. There's 30 days in a month typically, so times 12 months, that gives us $10,000. Now, on the other hand, if we don't have the time to invest in starting a second income, we have to use the funds and go back to, like Carmen said, the habits that we have on a day-to-day basis. Because for Carmen and I, when we first got started, we did the Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
We did the Financial Peace University. And what we realized, if we cut out the small things, then we're able to have more money that we can keep. We realized that the small things is what was killing us on a day-to-day basis. The stopping and getting Starbucks on our way to work, going out to eat for lunch.
And dinner sometimes.
Was killing us. And when we started cutting out those things, we had more money to set aside to reach our financial goals.
Now, great. I'm so glad that you talked about that, because food, clothing, shelter, whatever it is that you're spending extra dollars on, that's literally robbing your wealth. It's robbing your wealth and you don't even know it. And the reason why we're, again, going back to this is because we're reflecting on the past and the things that we did, and we're hoping that we can share this with you and that you all learn a few things from that. So one thing that I want to make sure that we speak through is, a lot of times on the Wealth Nation channel, we talk about a scarcity mindset versus abundant mindset. And we definitely tell people to not think about skimping or holding back and things like that. So when we talk about don't go to Starbucks or don't eat out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we're talking about a different strategy in the sense of not, robbing yourself of some of the luxuries that you like, but let's just be a little bit more strategic with what we're doing with our money. Because once you start recognizing how much money is going to Starbucks, how much money is going to Payway or whatever it is, that you're eating out, you recognize that, wait a second, I'm paying Payway's light bill. And I'm paying Starbucks light bill. And
this is where the reason why you want to earn $10,000 comes into place, because your reason why has to be more than your reason to go to Starbucks. It has to be more than your reason to spend $100 on a meal and eating out. Yeah, it has to be greater than your reason for spending money when you could be saving money to use some other way.
And it could be peace of mind. Really, that a lot of people, that's what people like, is peace of mind. So peace of mind could be your why. And the fact is, like we said, we just want you to take a look at your spending. What are you doing? What are you doing every single day? Those are the little changes that we can tweak and redirect the funds back into our bank account. So if you go to Starbucks in the morning, if you hit up, if you go to lunch, that's $27 right there. Can you stop doing that for 30 days and see what that looks like in your bank account as opposed to not being in your bank account?
Yeah.
Game changer.
Yeah, these small exercises go a long way. Because one thing it led to us is we paid off some debt. And we realized that high interest debt is a huge source of money that we are just giving away in interest payments.
Something else that was robbing us.
That we could keep for ourselves.
And we lock our doors at night and put ADT on. We're still getting robbed.
Still getting robbed. No, it's not being robbed if you give it away. If you're donating, right?
Yep.
So we were donating this money and it wasn't even a write-off.
Damn. It's not funny. It's not funny. We can laugh at it now, but it hurt before.
Yeah, looking back at it, yeah. But it's a lesson learned that we can now share with you. Maybe there's something that you're doing that hopefully we can just help you think about a little differently as you move towards your financial goals. Because your goal isn't $10,000. It's what that $10,000 is going to buy for you.
Oh, Yes, I'm so glad you said that. Clarity, exactly. Clarity is what you need, and we can help you with the clarity. So definitely click on the link below so you can watch our masterclass. Let's start educating ourselves and learning about money and how you can take that $10,000 and create your own banking system using the infinite banking concept that Darius and I teach. So it's not about the $10,000. I love that segue. It's not about the $10,000. It's what that $10,000 is going to do for you. Cash flow, cash flow, cash flow is all we hope and dream for you guys at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because cash flow is what's going to create that financial freedom, that peace of mind, and that freedom of time that we all crave, and for us to be able to do the things that we need. So what we wanted to talk about is how can you save $10,000 super fast, starting today. Start reallocating some of the funds that you're not using responsibly and put that money towards savings.
Right. Using responsibly. Because just because we're spending money on the things that we want doesn't mean that it's responsible.
And just because you make money doesn't mean that you need to spend it.
Right. If you make a ton of money and you don't have any left over, or you don't have any to show for yourself, then you're not doing a really good job of using those funds responsibly, because it's not making you additional funds. You're still exchanging time for money.
Yeah, because regardless if you make $40,000 a year or $300,000 a year, you can still be broke.
Yeah.
Because you're not allocating your funds accordingly.
And we even see that with celebrities.
Oh yeah, athletes.
After they are no longer receiving that income, they hadn't used the money responsibly, and they're working a normal job after they finish making all these millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah. So once, with this whole transition period, once you get the $10,000, what Darius and I did was we started a life insurance policy. And for us, it was really important to do that because now that we created this habit of paying ourselves first, saving money and recognizing all of the money that was leaving us every single month, we tightened it up and brought it back. And we said, we got to start doing something better for ourselves. So we started using a whole life insurance policy to put our savings in, which is allowing us to earn a guaranteed return, have life insurance still at the end of the day, God forbid something were to happen to us. But this product also allows us to control our cash so that we can then turn around and use it to finance our lifestyle. And we're not dependent on other financial institutions to make it happen for us because we've saved up the cash. Now we're just using it in a completely different fashion.
Right. Now, before we got to that point, we had to be responsible and disciplined to get to that point. Because even once you get the $10,000, you want to be able to be responsible enough to allocate those funds or use those funds to make more money. So our journey to the $10,000, first, you either make more money. Second, you figure out a way to use your money responsibly.
Can I go back real quick when you said make more money? I want to hone in on that because how many times did we make more money, but we spent more money?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? So think about that. Whenever our income rises, how somehow our expenses rise. And that shouldn't be the case.
No.
Ever. So think about that because you may have just got a promotion and all of a sudden now you're taking on all these luxuries that are now a part of your lifestyle that weren't a part of your lifestyle before.
Okay. Exactly.
That's all I wanted to say.
I can do a recap now?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. So you make more money. You better allocate the funds that you do have, i.e. it's the small things that add up to big things, the $5 coffees or $10 coffees on a daily basis.
Lunches,
they add up, lunches, dinners. They add up. Paying off high interest debt. Paying off high interest debt allow you to no longer have to put that money towards that debt. You can now keep that money for yourself because again, at the end of the day, the money has to go somewhere. It still has to continue to flow. And what Carmen brought up is the fact that when our income increases, so does our expenses because the money is continuing to flow according to the same habits that we had before we didn't have the money. So paying off high interest debt. And another thing that we can take into consideration is looking around. What are things that you can sell? What are things that you're not using? If you go into your drawers, people have junk drawers and they have stuff that just sits there. What's the point of having it sit there when you can sell it, free up that space, and make money from it? Yeah. So we have to take a good look at everything around us. It's not just one thing that's going to help us get to this $10,000 fast. It's a combination of doing all these things at once so that it can compound for us.
Compound interest in a different way.
In a different way.
Yeah, we were talking about what life was like prior to us owning our own lifestyle. You remember that conversation where we're saying we were somewhat zombies in the sense of you get up, you go to work, you come home, you make dinner, and then you do it all over again. Times, 365 days a year, 5 years, whatever the case may be. But I really feel like once you start taking ownership of your life in different ways, maybe it's your health, you start first with that. Maybe it's your finances, you start with that. Whatever it is that you start with, you start to learn and understand different things that were never really in the forefront of your mind frame. You start to learn new things. You start to meet different people, more people who influence your life in different ways. And so for us, once we started hanging around individuals who were doing more with their money, who had entrepreneurial spirits, building businesses, multiple businesses, that started to get us to tighten up and think about the things that we were doing. So I would totally recommend that a part of this strategy, you start surrounding yourselves with individuals who are doing more than you, who are living the lifestyle that you want. Because if anything, that's just going to rub off on you and help you see why your why is so important, because you're continuing to be put in front of these individuals.
Right. Now, it takes me back to our first $10,000 that we were able to save. $10,000 was a significant number. We could put aside $1,000, but to consistently put ourselves in a position where we can have $10,000 in savings and then have $10,000 every single year, it's a really big step for us. And once we got the discipline, we were able to apply that in multiple areas of our life. The way we manage our finances is the way we manage our business. The way we manage our business is the way we manage our health. So some reason, every single thing that you do is all connected. If you have poor finances, there's a good possibility you could have poor health. True. So it's really important for us to understand how to put ourselves on the right financial path so that $10,000 isn't a huge number to us once we figure out the code or combination in which it takes for us specifically or personally to get to that number.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that you're talking about is the root cause. We never treat the root cause, we're always treating the symptoms.
Right.
So, going to the doctor's office and getting prescribed medication, as opposed to figuring out, what is the internal thing that's happening first and foremost. So if things are challenging for you when it comes to saving or managing your money, then we have to look at the root cause. What is that? Is that something that you grew up with? Is that something that you were surrounded with? Is that because you're an emotional spender? Living beyond your means, whatever the case may be. It's about tapping into that first and then healing from there. Because no matter how many times you try to band-aid the problem, maybe you're an emotional spender. And if you don't deal with that and you try to fix things, it'll be fixed for a month and then it'll all go to hell after that. So, and that's just being honest, because you have to make sure that you fix the root cause. And so for us, we wanted to make sure that we give you something tangible, something that you can do. So start looking at $27 a day. That is not a lot of money. It's not a lot of money. We're spending that in so many different ways that aren't allowing us to create cash flow for ourselves. So if you can't save $27 a day, then you need to start looking at your spending habits.
Because not having money isn't the problem. It's just symptom of the real problem. And in order for us to address that, we have to really look deep within ourselves, because everyone has different problems. And there's nothing that we can say that will, help you get to your own personal root cause. You have to go within yourself and understand that.
You have to realize it for yourself.
So $10,000 isn't just $10,000. It's the journey to $10,000 where you start understanding your spending. You start understanding how you make financial decisions, which is the most important thing. Because, if you can just make more money, it doesn't fix the problem because you'll end up spending it. You can save $10,000 one time, easy, but in order for you to do it over and over again, you have to fix the root cause.
That there's habits and discipline that's going to go into all of this.
Right.
Go ahead.
Now, again, just to go back on some of the ways in which you do get to the $10,000, you can get to the $10,000 is making more money, is getting rid of frivolous spending, paying off debt, selling goods in your home online so that you can get to that money fast.
Yeah, with the selling piece of things, goods, a lot of people may not think about this, but if you understand minimalism and understand that everything that in your house has a value, you have to reinvent yourself and understand when you go into every single room of your house, does everything have a purpose? Because a lot of times you may have things behind drawers and doors that do not have purpose and could sell for of some sort of value and create purpose to someone else, which could then put money in your own pockets.
Right.
So like we said in previous videos, Darius and I are very minimalistic. We don't have a lot of possessions because we recognize that everything that we have in our house has a strict purpose. And we don't have a lot of things that we don't need because we would rather that money be out earning cash for us as opposed to just sitting, somewhere on the hardwood floors doing nothing.
Right. Now, another reason for us is the fact that our financial habits is going to be passed to our daughter.
True.
So we have to be very conscious of the things that we do financially because we're going to pass those on to her. So it's really important that you do the same thing for your family. It's not as much of you sitting down and having a discussion about finances, more than the actions that you take, because every single thing that you do, your children are watching.
Absolutely.
So they go by what you do, not necessarily what you say.
And you're also the product of your environment, right? We're all somebody's child.
Yeah.
So we are all working through our own habits, good or bad, that we saw our parents do and working through those. So now more than ever, that's what we're all talking about, is owning your own lifestyle, is not looking to what you've seen. It's owning what you've seen and doing something about it. Maybe it was good, maybe it was bad, but whatever it is, you need to make sure that every action you take, you understand why you're taking that action and you're not just doing it because someone said so.
Right. And you know what? You can go off of what you've seen because the foundation of our finances when we got into debt was what we seen.
True.
When we changed the environment in which we were and we started seeing, is because of what we saw. We started seeing what other people are doing with their funds and, well, why can he have $1 million and I can't? Well, you start operating differently when you surround yourself with people who are operating different financially.
Yeah, and it's not about anything other than the fact that they may have a little bit more knowledge than you do. And knowledge is one of those things these days where it's free, especially on YouTube, and you can go figure out how to close the knowledge gaps so that you can start escalating your opportunity to create cash flow.
Yeah, and having friends that have money isn't about sitting down and talking about how they make money or whatnot. It's about being in the same environment, because every single time we talk, information just comes out. And it's just having a conversation with somebody that you get different ideas. You don't have to sit down and have a particular conversation about specifically how...
Tell me about your bank account.
How do I get $10,000? No, it's just being in the same energy or vicinity as these people so that you can just start getting ideas.
Yeah. So we are going to challenge you, ladies and gentlemen. Just think about $27. Don't think about $800. Don't think about $10,000. Just think about $27 a day. And what can you do about it? I'm sure many of you watching this video can think about how you can start moving $27 from outside of your bank account to back into your bank account so that you can start creating cash flow for yourself.
Yeah, and every single one of you can think of a reason why you should have more money. Is it you want to spend more time with your family? Is it you want to go on a vacation with your family? What is the reason why you should have $10,000 or more in your possession?
Every single year.
Yeah.
Right.
Or every single month.
Yeah.
You decide.
You decide. Nobody ever said that you can't save more. So we're just giving you a baseline.
Yeah.
That is the minimum we think that you should start striving for.
Right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to continue to learning how to move that money, let's talk about passive income now. Check out our next video so you can learn about passive income and creating cash flow. Cash flow, cash flow, cash flow.
Remember to own your own lifestyle.
Or someone else will.